This year I am helping people with performance and nutrition, namely Johnny Payne and Sahil. All of my life I've been interested in different sports and playing them to a good level, competing at a high standard, and I think that ability to go broad across different disciplines, to understand how to react or respond in a moment, is giving me kind of like a nuance, like an intuition that helps me to see where someone else might be in a situation that I've experienced before, and to then give them some insights that might be able to help them just move past that moment. I know what the dark places and the holes feel like, so I think it's easy to be able to relate and to recognise in someone that they might be there too, and to give them that perspective. We'll find some time to call Si and talk about race plans and nutrition for him, because it'd be good for him. We'll be 8 weeks out now, pretty much, for him to start thinking about that, which is what we've been preparing anyway.
Do you want the deep blue or the tiger bomb? I feel like you had both. You used both. So which one was better?
It's strange, like it's pulled, but it's not painful to move about. But when you touch it, it's.
But it's interesting. You're like, oh yeah, totally fine. Da, 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 da. Triathlon.
Do you know when it happened? Because like I did the triathlon, and then I went straight into wakeboarding,
Exactly.
and you're just in the water.
It's fine.
But I didn't do anything. I was just treading water, waiting for the rope to tighten, and I just pulled. But I've done quite a lot since, and it's been fine. It's just it doesn't seem to be healing, obviously, because I'm doing load.
The goal of this session for me is just to simulate the stone staircase that we had as part of the route. So when we did a reconnaissance, we found that actually from about 20 minutes in for 50 minutes or so, it's pretty steep incline and steps. And because I tweaked my adductor, I don't want to put so much load into the leg like I normally would do on a Saturday where I'd do a 15k, 20k trail run. So I'm going to do an hour up and down. It will take less than 10 minutes up, but you'll see the gradient's quite steep, and so I just want to get my body used to going up and down those inclines. And particularly because on the day, whilst like I'm training to be fit enough, I actually feel like I need to be a bit fitter, because I might do that incline on the steps multiple times just to support people with nutrients, fuel, food, motivation, as opposed to doing the whole loop. So for me, it's probably needing to do that repetition much more frequently than once you get up to the top, and then you've got a long downhill as well. So yeah. I think when we talk about performance, we tend to think about strength, output, we tend to think about macro, making sure we've got the right amount of carbohydrate, protein, fats, but in actual fact, micronutrition are like the sparks that make the fuel burn. And so if you've not got the right amount of micronutrients that are being fed into the body, then I think emotional dysregulation can be a real thing, which is hard when you're in an endurance event where you're in high stress states. So when your glycogen stores deplete and you start to bonk, then you're in a whole world of pain, because the body doesn't have the fuel it needs to operate the systems in the way that it's supposed to. So then you're in just a struggle and you're holding on, which takes you into that dark place, which means you can't then think past that dark place. Bonking is a term that describes when you start to hit the wall and your body breaks down. Maybe you've got some central nervous system fatigue, maybe you've not taken enough fluids on, so your electrolyte imbalances are quite high. And it's not just physical, but it's mental, neurological, like there's a whole raft of events that go on when your body doesn't have the right amount of nutrients that's in there. The problem will be that like most people in the first 2 rotations will feel fine, so they won't do it, but it's cumulative and it's really hard to pull it back. Round 1, round 2, round 3, round 9 are all going to be different, whether it be day, night, weather, pains, mental struggles, and so your capacity to handle that will be dependent on the stores of nutrients that your body has. I think that if people prepare and make sure that they're regimented with their intake, then we can stop the bonking. But inevitably it's going to happen for one way or another.
There is 9 or 10 to the next one at the end. I'll have a look after. But good, some lessons learned. I think taking a break when the heart rate's getting over 160, just so it brings down, is good, because then the rest, even though you're climbing back up, psychologically it just feels much easier. And over that 36 hours, you're not going to keep 160 pace all the time. So,
what's the benefit of having the discipline with keeping it below like zone 3?
Less stress on the body, using different energy sources, so your body will be able to use oxygen much better when it's in a lower heart rate than when it's a higher heart rate, and that's when you're going to crave sugars, which is fine. But over that time you're going to get fatigue, your body's going to want different sources, you want mixed modalities in terms of energy systems, and making sure that not just your glycogen stores are replenished when they're depleted, but you've actually got sufficient energy to support the body systems. So that's something we're going to talk about with Sai later, after the simulation that we did in Helvellyn and in this. What else? Adductor felt fine, which is what I thought because of the movement of the leg, but surprising that letting momentum just take you was better than actually controlling it. So yeah, all in all, good session. We are at Sky Park Farm, which is the nearest farm shop, just to get a bit more food. So I found this is really good for like local, good quality meat, and of course flat whites.
No, it doesn't work.
We are going to call Sai in a minute, and I'm going to propose a race plan for him. So looking at the data that we gathered from the reconnaissance walk that we did a couple of weeks ago, 3-4 weeks ago, we did one speed ascent and then one normal walk, and we got some interesting data from it. So we basically what I'm trying to overlay is the heart rate versus the elevation, and looking at time in zones in order to build a plan and a strategy around fueling, transition times, like when he rests, when he sleeps, etc., in order to keep the body in its like optimal function. I think there's a risk sometimes with Sai that he goes out too quick, which is what's happened on some of his ultras in the past. And we don't want that. Like I said before, we don't want him to be burning through sugars really quickly. We don't want heart rate to be really high for that long. So if we can keep him in a place where he's able to regulate more through the right fuel, the right micronutrients, the right rest, the right recovery, in a sense, then I think he'll be better. Hello mate, look at that. Even without saying anything, you were coordinated.
Oh, matching.
Exactly.
No.
Yeah. What I want to try and do is give your body some sense of normality, right? Like it's going to need to sleep and it's going to need to refuel. So like not just running on these like fast carb gels, which over time your gut's going to go and you're going to feel a bit shit because you're running at high intensity all the time. So essentially with the station that I'm going to have, by the time you come back down, your like snack, your compression, everything should be ready, so it's just clockwork. And I want you to run through a system of like 5-minute stretch, sit down for whatever time it is in the compression, eat whilst you're in the compression, get up, change and go.
Ideally for me, I think I'll attack it in 3s. So do the 3s, because I know what my body does, and if I'm doing that much movement over time and then I sit down, the hardest part for me is when I've stopped, how my body feels. And the hardest part, or even the hardest hour or loop, will be after I've sat down. So at that time, that's where for me that's where I'm expecting not great things to happen.
So that's why I think, because your body after working all day, at 1 AM, you're going to want to sleep.
Yeah.
So let's let the body sleep. Yeah, I mean, you don't want to be doing anything new on race day, right? So I think you want to make sure that all your purchases and everything that you've planned has been tested and tested and tested, so that there's no new surprises on the day. So if you know intuitively where your gels are, where your fluids are, that you're not having to make these micro decisions that become cumulative or become difficult when your body's fatigued. That's an absolute godsend. If you've got a support team, hand over decision making to them. Tell them what you need, when you need it, in what format, at what stage, so that when you come back into your transition, that you're essentially just a machine. Spending some time thinking about it is as important as it is physically training for it.
So mate, how are we looking for filming episode 3, the backyard? Are you good to go?
So, bit of a fun one. So I went out 2 days ago, test ran it. I got 2K in and the calf started to tighten to the point it felt like it was going to go again. As gutting as it is to say intuitively, I think the apex at the end of the day is the priority. It always has been. This was a training event, as stupid as it was and as big as it was for a training event, just to see how far the legs can go. So the smart move in me, which is probably one of the first times I'm going to make this, is to withdraw.
Yeah, main goal, we've got apex. We'll just have to come up with something else.
Well, we do have an event coming up, Gone Wild, where we're all together and training, so we could.
Yeah, so I'm there with Adam anyway, so that'll work ideal if they don't mind driving down to us. I don't like driving up north. So we'll see you in Norfolk then.
That's the one.